Hey guys, thanks for coming back for another Tasty Tuesday. Telex is going to do a short review of the Cardhu Gold Reserve, which is in the Game of Thrones series. Um, I am still going to look at the Ball Blair 1990 second release with Malt Muser here after this live discussion, but we'll be doing a live show after this one. This is going to be a short review on this. This is a 40%, which is a little low on my radar, but it is what it is. It's colored and chill filtered, unfortunately, as well. But hopefully, the taste will be making up for that crafting issue. This is the same UK release, Gold Reserve, that you might have seen overseas. It's not been really available in America until this particular release for this series. I'll be wrapping up the Game of Thrones series with this review, thankfully, as well, and I'll kind of give, after I get through this with this, an all around which ones to buy, which ones to maybe skip on the side. Hmm. Very fruity on the nose, like pears and apples up front with bit of white grapes and some cantaloupes are in there too. Vanilla on the back and ending with some nice floral notes too. Medium level florals like a little bit of lavender. Hmm. Thankfully, it's not a thin mouth coat; it's a medium level mouth coat. Hmm. It's different because the fruit, the lovely fruit you get on the nose, it's not on the palate, which is kind of weird. Um, but there's watermelon still there. But there's a lot of like a combination of cinnamon and cloves. Hmm. Bit of marzipan too. The only thing really other than that to speak of is some honey and some caramel. Nose is a bit better than the palate, in my opinion. It's weird that you don't get the lovely fruit on the palate that you get on the nose, but it's not a bad palate per se. It's a little on the sweeter end, but I like a sweet dram, so it actually crosses my it checks my boxes that I'm looking for when it with a taste. But the finish is very short and a very dry. It's got a tinge of tobacco in the back and some what I would call like an orange marmalade. It's not too pithy, but it's a slight bit of bitterness, but not bad. It is well balanced. I'll give them credit for that. Let's see. Even though it's 40%, we're going to give it a drop, a minuscule amount of water, just to see what we can get out of this, if anything. Literally a drop, to just to say that we got enough Iska to make a difference, hopefully, somewhat. While I'm letting this simmer, I would definitely take a look at the. Let me think of the go-to bottles with this series. The Lagavulin is good, I think. Um, I've heard more praise than lack of praise in the Lagavulin. It's probably the one of the best of the entire series. The Kleinlich is pretty decent. It's nice because it's cast strength level. The other ones I would maybe shoot for the Dalwhinnie if you like a nice Highland. It is in the lighter end, but it's sweet. Um, I do prefer the Dalwhinnie 15, I think, slightly, but the Winter's Frost, I think it's called. That one's actually pretty decent. I would also do the Oban, the black, the Night Watch bottle, the Bay Reserve. It's a bit smoky for an Oban, and I liked it. With the ones to probably skip or kind of look over, Royal Nagar, nothing against it. It just didn't really do a whole lot. The Glendulin was another one that was kind of, the Talisker was actually pretty good. I would put that on the get list. The Talisker is not like any other Talisker, though. It's very sugar cookie-ish. It doesn't have a lot of maritime notes, or even a ton of pepper. I mean, it's got some, but it's definitely more of a sugar cookie type of a dram than anything else. It coming from Talisker is a bit different, so that's why I would give it a look at least. That's called the Select Reserve. This one, I'm on the fence still. Cardhu is not my favorite distillery, I'll be honest. It overall has a really heavy malty cereal profile, and that is in this. But the sweetness actually balances it out a bit, where it's not so prevalent with this particular offering, thankfully. It brought the florals forward on the nose with the water. It gets more citrus fruit on the nose after the water than before. Before it was like the pears and the apples and the white grapes. This is more of a citrus, like a orange, lemon, lime, even on the nose. I think it lowered the spice level on the nose too. Sometimes water adds a bit of spice on the palate, and this one it doesn't. It lowers it. It does bring out kind of a note of I would call it like a dark chocolate kind of a note, but with it's such a low ABV being 40%, I'm kind of like, you got to be careful with the water, but it's not as dry on the finish with the water. It's more malty, like a Whoppers kind of a feel, but it's the same kind of a finish. Still a bit short. Thankfully, it's not as dry with a drop of water. Overall, I'd say this one I give a 3.25 out of 5. That's to say it's a little above an average dram, being like a daily sipper type of dram. If you're not really into the heather, like a Magnus from Highland Park, or if you're kind of tired of like Johnny Walker Black or that kind of thing, these are used primarily in Johnny Walker blends that I remember reading about. So you're going to get kind of a similar profile, but this one's a bit sweeter than your typical blacks, reds, greens, that type of thing. So with that said, I'd say it's worth maybe a look. It's only $40 typically on this, even though I don't factor value into scoring. But if you can get it for, $35, $40, it's really not, something that I would pass up on a daily dram per se, but I'm not going to like go out of my way seeking it out. This one I'm still kind of on the fence about if it's a get or a pass, but it's definitely I think I prefer this one better than the Rolac Nagar and maybe even the Glendulin, depending on my mood. The Glendulin I like because it's got a bit of a sulfuric kind of a note to it that reminds me, not as deep as a Ben Nevis, but it's got a little bit of that going for it. If you're in the mood for like more of a funky dram, but this one definitely on the sweeter side. Space side, should have mentioned that in the beginning, but that's about it. Hopefully you enjoyed this short review, and we'll be looking at the Ball Blair 1990 with Malt Muser here in a little bit. So please stay tuned for a new live, and we'll talk about that in depth. Sláinte mhath for now, guys.